Today, what we do is only pertaining to music. But at the core of our technology is an invention by our CTO, Nicholas. And what he invented is a way to look at the training data and look at the outputs that come from the AI company and determine how much influence did each piece of training data have on the output. Because depending on what someone output, it's going to be more or less similar to each piece of training data. And I'm sure you're familiar with, when something gets played on Spotify, it registers a play for the song on Spotify. And the songs that get more plays make more money than the songs that got fewer plays. We believe AI payments should operate similarly, that the music that is creating more value and being used more in the training and the outputs should get paid more than the music that isn't used as much, isn't creating as much value for the end user. And so what Nicholas has invented is AI attribution, that every time there's an output, we can tell you this song in the training data had a 21% influence on the output. This song had a 4% influence on the output. This song had a 0.01% influence on the output. And what you then have there is a fair and transparent way to share a dollar. And that's core to what we do. And Nicholas's technology is actually modal and model agnostic. And that means two important things. One, it works no matter what technology is being used for the training or the output creation. It doesn't matter if it's stability model or some custom model. Our technology works the same way no matter what. Let's say an AI company is using the stability technology. They update stability to 8.3 or whatever. Our technology doesn't have to be updated. It's agnostic to that. The second really important thing about this technology Nico invented is that it is modal agnostic. It works on all content types and all training data. We are all endemic to music. We wanted to solve this problem for music. And as I'm sure you and your listeners know, music is usually the first digital media that gets trial by fire and copyright changes and digital transformations in the market. So we decided to work there first. But we will be moving into television and film, video, and obviously almost all video is not silent. It includes music and speech. And so we will be moving into those areas and other concentric circles in the near future. Text is an interesting question. However, when I ask an AI thing to generate a song for me, that is a very subjective output. If I ask a chat AI to tell me a fact, like what year was John Lennon born? That's a fact. And that fact probably exists in millions of the inputs that it read. So tying that factoid back to the training data is an interesting challenge that's a little bit different than if you're asked, because it's an objective answer, that is a little bit different than in the subjective space. I don't believe that AI actually engages in acts of creativity. But let's just presume for a moment that we call the outputs creative outputs. Creative outputs are easier to attribute than factoid outputs around text. So I'm not sure how text is going to get sorted out. Using my example, I'll use a different example. What year was John Lennon assassinated? That exists in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of newspaper articles. So which newspaper article do you give credit for that factoid appearing in the output is a challenge we have not addressed. We're really focused on media and the desire human beings have of creating/generating media that allows them to self-express. And our attribution technology is really good at tying those loose ends together.
It sounds like a brilliant technology, but I'm curious, isn't the output of an AI, isn't that private? So how would you know if it's private?
Because the AI companies that we partner with, we get the outputs.
Oh, okay.
We don't look at them like humans, but they get run through a system that creates this attribution report.